I would just say this. There was something that was brought to my attention that I didn't like too well. I approached him about it, and we talked, and we handled it like grown men. And that's all I have to say about that. So that was, 2.5 weeks ago. So.
Marvin Jones taking the high road regarding his reportedly heated exchange with Urban Meyer. The fact that it was 2.5 weeks ago doesn't matter. The fact that it happened is what matters. And frankly, Miles, the fact that it became a thing on the same day that 2 other incidents were reported by the media conglomerate partially owned by the Jaguars, that is the far bigger issue than the details of the allegations. It shows that there are people in that building that don't like Urban Meyer, that are willing to talk about Urban Meyer, and that would like to see Urban Meyer gone. So he has failed in his fundamental obligation to not piss everybody off to the point that they want him out of there. And I'm not saying everybody, but enough that they're talking. And Marvin Jones, he's caught in the middle of it. He's not trying to get anybody fired. All he's trying to do is do his job. And he's not the kind of guy that's going to try to cause those problems anyway. So right. I can see why he would downplay it. He's got to coexist with Meyer. But at the same time, somebody's been talking. They convinced NFL media, did I mention it's partially owned by the Jaguars, to go with it. That's the problem for Urban Meyer.
Well, not only that, but what's interesting about this is it could be at the expense of some of these guys' own jobs that they are talking to NFL media. I mean, because ostensibly these are some of the Jaguars' assistants. It's somebody who works inside this building, right, that was presumably hired by Urban Meyer, who was hired to oversee and run the entire football operation, that now has been leaking to the media things that are going on within that building and how bad it is. And I think when something like this is happening and, it's that bad and you are leaking things that could cause you your job, which may or may not be on the line anyway, based on the way things are going on internally, like that's a big deal. So I totally understand why Marvin Jones would address it the way that he addressed it. And really, he didn't even say like it wasn't heated. He said, we addressed it like grown men. And I appreciate that from him, because what he's saying is, look, I know I can go and I can say something that I feel I believe in, because I'm a veteran. I've played a long time in this league and I've earned the respect of my teammates in order to do that. And, it's either going to be addressed or it's not. And I think the way he handled himself in the situation was A, great. And, B, when he's talking about it to the media, I thought he handled that very well too. So I got a lot of respect for Jones, the way he handled that.
Yeah, I do as well. And look, this is just not going to end well. And I got the impression, reading between the lines of the things that owner Shad Khan said Monday on his super yacht while he spoke to reporters at the occasion of his not just a yacht, super yacht, according to the Associated Press. Mark Long was there. It's a super yacht. It can fly, or it has other powers. But Khan says he's going to do the right thing, and the difference is they've tolerated losing. This is losing plus drama, and unnecessary drama. And I think that what Shad Khan needs to understand is Urban Meyer has failed to keep his house in order. And it all started when Urban Meyer abandoned his post and didn't return with his team to Jacksonville from Cincinnati. I don't care what he did in Ohio. The fact that he didn't go back to Jacksonville with the team is the moment where I think that it wasn't the last straw. It was all the straws on the camel's back at once for the Jacksonville Jaguars and for the people who had been browbeaten or just not treated in the way they would like. He gave them license to be upset, because that's about the time the talking started. This just didn't start. Right. And I saw that Brady Quinn, who worked with Urban Meyer at Fox, was suggesting that this is media cattiness. Dude, this is people in the building that are talking and trying to spread this. And as further proof that it's not media cattiness, Josh Lambo, who was the Jaguars kicker, he's on the record now, according to Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, saying that while Lambo was warming up for practice, Meyer came up to him while he was stretching and said, "Hey, dip S-T, make your F-K-ing kicks," and kicks me in the leg. Lambo says that Meyer kicked him in the leg. And Well, let's see what else. It certainly wasn't as hard as he could have done it, but it wasn't a love tap either. Truthfully, I'd register it out as a 5 out of 10, according to Lambo, which in the workplace, I don't care if it's football or not, the boss can't strike an employee. And for a second, I couldn't believe it actually happened. Pardon my vulgarity. I said, don't you ever effing kick me again. His response was, I'm the head ball coach. I'll kick whoever the F I want. So, now, Meyer denies it. Of course he does. He's denied everything. Josh's characterization of me and this incident is completely inaccurate, and there are eyewitnesses to refute his account. And I'm sure they all receive paychecks from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which would make their, to the extent that you're going to say Josh Lambo is a disgruntled former employee, that's fine, but any of these eyewitnesses are going to have biases that tie into, hey, guy that works for me, you saw that it didn't happen, right? Didn't you? So it's just another mess. And it's another example of a guy who has created enemies who are motivated to go after him. That in and of itself is a big enough flaw that if I'm the owner of the team, I'm done. I'm out. I can find plenty of coaches who aren't going to be that kind of a problem.
No doubt. And listen, I've never heard of anything like this in any kind of professional football setting. I've been covering this league for 8 years. You don't kick somebody. If what happened, the way that Lambo described it happened, this is appalling behavior and it's unacceptable. And that to me is a fireable offense, straight up.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.